Rex Hoggard joining us now. And Rex, your reaction to the PGA Tour memo we just read.
Rich, I spent a lot of time last week talking with players at the Hero World Challenge about this. Keegan Bradley was certainly outspoken against any type of rollback. He's been outspoken about that in the past. But I think the more interesting conversation I had was with Rickie Fowler. And he kind of went through why he would be against any type of rollback. And it started with how it's going to impact the recreational game. And you guys have spent a lot of time talking about it this morning. And certainly I think tour players like Rickie Fowler kind of share the sentiment that they don't want to do anything that's going to hold back the game in any way. He also kind of pointed out that he didn't feel like, and the top players sort of hold this sentiment together, that it's going to impact every professional player the same way. He pointed out that for him, he's a pretty good ball striker, and he seems to hit the middle of the club face a lot. Probably not going to have the same impact on him that it's going to have with other players. So I think what we heard from players last week and what we're probably going to hear over the next coming days is pushback, not just from the middle of the pack players, but everybody.
Rex, do you get a sense that the players are doubting the data presented by the USGA and R&A? Keegan Bradley, for example, saying he tried a ball and he was 40 to 50 yards shorter than the ball he wants to use.
One player texted me this morning with just two words, cherry picking, and I think that's what he was referring to with the idea that the numbers that the USGA and the R&A are using don't really match up with what players see on the range. We've all walked up and down PGA Tour ranges. They all have their own TrackMan devices. They all know exactly what the data on their drives are, and then what they see that the Tour produced, and just mentioned that in the previous segment, the USGA and the R&A, they don't own the data that was used essentially to come up with this rule change. It's PGA Tour data, and it's not produced in a way that they feel like it's consistent. You just read the memo, and I think the word disproportionate stands out. Again, I talked to two players this morning who are at the top of the list when it comes to both ball speed and club head speed, and I asked them to compare the numbers that they see on a regular basis on the range using their own TrackMan versus what they see on the tour stats, and they said it's not even close. So I think that's the problem most of the players have. I don't think they necessarily have a problem rolling the ball back, at least at the highest level. It's the numbers that were used to come up with this particular rule.
Tremendous uncertainty, as you know, Rex, in the game right now as we go to 2024. Framework agreement with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia is not yet concluded. We may know more in the coming days and weeks ahead. What about the timing? What are you hearing about the timing of this particular announcement from your PGA Tour sources?
Yeah, Rich, it's hard to get tour players to agree on anything if you get a group of them together. But the one thing I did hear, not just last week, but even this morning, that there might be a problem at the highest levels of the game, maybe hitting the golf ball too far. I think most tour players are open to a conversation on that front. But they also all agreed on the idea that this is not the right time to do it. As you pointed out, we're getting close to that December 31st deadline to come up with some sort of definitive agreement. According to the commissioner last week and Tiger Woods, it seems like that's a hard deadline, so we're going to have some sort of decision coming up, and this is just one more thing, another distraction that the players are going to have to deal with, and they just don't think it's the right time.
Upheaval and change. Rex Hoggard, thank you. We appreciate it.